Let's see if we're good over here. All right. Well, what's going on, guys? Andy Brew coming at you. And here we are. Today, we are talking all things Final Fantasy VII Remake. Let me get this out of here real quick. I forgot to upload a thumbnail, so I do want to do that. Yes, my face is huge right now, and I wanted to put something in like the background so there wasn't this black here, but I'll have to do that another time. It's fine. But hey, welcome. Today we're talking Final Fantasy VII Remake. Spoilers up in the air. Hopefully some people come. Some of you guys come. If not, then I'll just be talking to the camera, which is fine. I mean, I'm talking to the camera right now, you know, it's just me in here, but you know what I mean. Anyway, I do have a thumbnail actually that I forgot to upload. I'm going to do this right now. Yeah, it looks good. It looks good. Let me just type this in real quick. Perfect. All right, now I'm good. Save that bad boy. I probably should have done this on the back end, but I forgot. So it happens. But hey, I hope you guys are doing well. And again, we're going to be talking Final Fantasy VII Remake, all things considered. All things Final Fantasy VII Remake. I'm super, super excited. Definitely just want to start talking about it because we had a spoiler-free video that we kind of did before. And now we are going to be actually talking about it. So, yeah. Spoilers up in the air and everything. Yes. So, Final Fantasy VII Remake. Well, I guess I should start with the ending. Since we're here. Yeah, the ending is very interesting. It definitely caught me by surprise. I definitely am excited though to see what they do with it. You know, with having literally like the whole thing with like the whispers was like it was so different, but it was so interesting. You know, like it was a good way to like change up the story. But at the same time, it was like I like didn't know how I felt about it, but I love it. I love it because now me, who has played the original, you know, I have so much more to look forward to, I guess, because essentially, like, you know, I know what to expect with the next installment because of like I played the original, but also I don't know what to expect because now we have an alternate timeline where, or I'm assuming it's an alternate timeline or an alternate reality where Zack is alive. And so I don't know how that's going to play into the next installment. I don't know what's going to happen with that. But yeah, it's interesting. Zack's alive. Part of me is very happy because I love Zack as a character. Part of me is like, I don't know what is like, I don't know what to like expect, I guess. Like, sorry, let me just get this on my phone real quick. I gotta answer this. Okay. Awesome. Anyway, sorry about that. We are live and all. Part of me is super happy. The other part of me is like, if this were to mesh with like I guess like the normal timeline, like I hope it kind of stays like an alternate timeline or alternate reality because then like the impact of Zack's death isn't really there since he's alive. And so, like, you know, those feels aren't there. But at the same time, I'm super happy that Zack isn't dead, at least in an alternate reality. So, that's kind of like the big thing I definitely wanted to talk about. And, yeah, it's just, again, it's interesting. This game was, like, we'll talk about it later for sure once more people come, but if more people show up. But this game was like really, wow. I'm probably gonna play it again in my own time on hard mode, and experience it again just kind of in my own time, just because like there was like so much to take in from just first time playing. Like there's definitely references that I've missed. I saw like there was definitely a lot of Loveless references for like to Genesis in the game for sure. There was like I think somebody brought up, I can't remember I don't think I caught this because I would have been like, oh yeah, but like the Benora tree that they talked about at Crisis Core. And there's just like a lot of references that I want to catch again. Definitely, or I should say I want to go back in a second playthrough and, find them for myself and kind of experience it again. Because the storytelling was so good. The way that they did Aerith was like, it was like so touching. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, they did her so well. I mean, they did all the characters so well, but specifically Aerith, I think I fell more in love with Aerith here than I did playing the original, I should say. Like I loved Aerith in the original. Tifa is still my favorite. I don't know why. I just love Tifa so much. But the remake really made me fall in Aerith. Oh my gosh. Fall in love with Aerith a lot more. Just because, again, seeing these characters brought to life. I think I talked about that in the spoiler-free video. But, seeing these characters brought to life in this way was so special and so, oh my gosh. It was so, powerful. At least some scenes felt. The scenes with Barrett, giving, I remember the scene with him at the beginning of the game giving his speech, I was I felt that with the whole Avalanche crew. I was like, man, I feel this. And then seeing them actually bring to life the fact that Barrett is a father, and even though he's technically he's not Marlene's biological father, but seeing that he them emphasizing and fleshing out more of the father-daughter relationship, that was something else that was really, really special. And by the way, let me know if the audio sounds okay, because I am actually a little bit farther away from my mic. I should probably maybe lean in a little more like this, but that was really special. And again, I want to, as you guys are coming in, I want to hear your thoughts on the remake. Again, we're going to talk about everything, spoilers up and everything, all spoilers up in the air. The cat's out of the bag. We're talking about everything. I talked about Zach a little bit at the beginning, if some of you missed it, but we will be talking about that again later for sure. The way that they did, I was very happy with how they portrayed Aerith and Barrett specifically. Because I definitely fell in love with those two characters more. The voice actors did a phenomenal job. And I've said this before in my other video, the spoiler-free video, but they did such a good job. Such a ridiculously good job. I don't care what anyone says about the new voice actors. I love them. They did so good. Insanely good. Hey, Devon, what's going on? Gabriel, it's good to see you. Good to see you, man. When Zack is alive in the alternate reality, would this mean Cloud and Aerith can meet him again after many years? Zack back to Cloud and Aerith. Yeah, so I don't know. That's still kind of it's interesting to think about because I don't know what they're going to do with that. If it's just going to kind of be an alternate time, an alternate reality, or if they actually altered the timeline. If the timeline changed, because if the timeline changed, that's going to change a big chunk of the narrative, I feel if they're going to include Zack and everything. But if it's an alternate reality, then I can see that. But again, they would have, if it was just an alternate reality and they just showed us that just to kind of mess with us, Hopefully it's not like a red herring, but like if it is, I don't like. I mean, it's whatever, but man, it would be interesting to see Zack with Cloud and Aerith, like all three of them. And again, I don't know if they're doing an alternate reality or if it's an alternate timeline or what's going to happen with that. But man, I just like, I miss Zack. And like, I haven't actually played Crisis Core. Like, if you guys were here for that whole thing, we did like a watch through of Crisis Core. We just watched like a game movie of it, basically. And reacted to it. I didn't actually get. I don't have the means of playing it, but Zack is such a cool character, and so yeah, like it's weird seeing him survive that outcome, and like I'm excited to like. I said this at the beginning, but this gives us like a lot. I know a lot of people are like up in the air about, oh, like like. This is so controversial to like the original. Like people were mad that this is how it ended, you know, with Zack surviving and like just the whole like thing with the whispers. Like a lot of people didn't like it. I love it just because, again, me playing the original gives me something to look forward to. Like, what are they gonna do different next time? I hope they don't stray too much away from the original. Like, I hope pretty much all of the events are the same, and I kind of hope they just add some stuff, but yeah, like I don't know, I'm excited. Like, I enjoyed it. I'm really excited. Hey Chris, what's going on? It seems to be an alternate timeline where Sephiroth from Advent Children is screwing with the past. That is the other thing I want to talk about. So people have been saying that which is so interesting. Like, it's so interesting. It's the Sephiroth from Advent Children who is actually like coming back and doing all of this stuff and messing with the timeline, and yeah, that's interesting because I can't remember, like there's like, I think there's some videos out there talking about the whole like Advent Children connection with everything. I like want to kind of do more research on that because I actually don't know like all the evidence for it. But yeah, like that's so crazy. Sorry, my phone's distracting me. I gotta turn on its side. I also read that like the three whispers that you fight whenever you're doing like the it's like that, it's like towards the end right before Sephiroth with the Harbinger one, and then there's like the Rubrum one and the, I don't remember what the other two are called, but I was reading, I don't know if this was in the Ultimania or if this was just somewhere else, that those three were actually, like the Revenants, or are they the Revenants or the Remnants from Advent Children? I can't remember what they're called, but it was like Kadaj, Laws, I don't even know if I said his name right. I've only seen Advent Children once, so it's rusty, but it's still great. And then the other guy, people were saying that, which is so crazy because it's like they're coming and messing with everything. And yeah, like that's just like, it's interesting. Like I'm interested. I'm definitely pulled in. It's definitely like a Nomura like take on the Final Fantasy VII story in terms of like the crazy convoluted, if you want to call it, plot and all the timeline and alternate reality stuff. But I love that stuff. Like it's just like, as confusing as it is, I love it. I think they're creating an alternate reality, but it will not change the original story. Man. Yeah, the Kadaj trio. Yazoo? Is that the other one's name? He had like the long hair. Yeah, Laws. Yeah, because it was the sword, the guy with the sword, the guy with the gun, and the fists. And originally, I was like, whenever I was playing, I was like, oh, this is, okay, maybe it's an alternate, these are whispers from an alternate timeline where, like, the sword guy is, like, one where Zack survives, the gun guy is where one that, like, died survives, and then the fist one, I have no idea. Like, maybe Tifa's dad or something. Because we were using Cloud, Baron, and Tifa, so I was just like, I was speculating in the moment, but it is cool that it's, you know, I think it was that in the Ultimania? Can someone confirm that? Because I read it somewhere. I did read the Ultimania, but I can't remember if I read it there. Or in, like, an Ultimania interview, sorry. I didn't actually buy, like, the whole Ultimania thing. but I read it in like an Ultimate interview. Yeah, so the Kadash trio. Yeah, but again, like this, my favorite part of this game was the characters, like the way they were brought to life. The bosses were so well designed. I definitely, I have a love-hate relationship with the Genova boss fight. I loved it just because it was like, we're fighting Genova. It's just an epic fight. But at the same time, that was like so annoying. But yeah, what was anybody in the chat who's watching and talking, tell me like your favorite bosses in the game. Tell me your favorite story moments. Tell me your favorite parts of the game. I'm curious. And even let's talk about the things that we didn't like about the game. Because there definitely were segments that like I could have been without. But at the same time, it's like it didn't even bother me too much because I just enjoyed the game so much, if that makes sense. Like, for example, some of you are going to laugh if you were here for the stream. But the whole, whenever you're with, it's Cloud and Aerith, and we're going to Wall Market, and then there's like those puzzles with like the mechanical arms. I could have been without that. And the reason why I'm saying that some of you might be laughing is because if you watch a stream, there was one that I spent literally 25 minutes doing because I couldn't get the arms in the right place, and it was just so funny. It was so ridiculous. But yeah, like stuff like that. Some of like the side quests were kind of like whatever, like, but it's also funny because I did notice that the game has a tendency to like call itself out. So for example, doing the cat side quest for Betty in the game, whenever Cloud is like talking to Betty and she's like, I need you to go find my cats, and he's like, seriously? Like, we're going to find cats? And then like you find like the third one or something, he's like, oh, this sucks. But it's kind of like breaking the fourth wall because it was so annoying. Like, it was just like, what is this quest? But it's funny because like the game was like calling itself out. It's like they knew that quest was going to be annoying. I thought there was like a pretty healthy amount of side quests. It would have been cool to have more side quests, but I liked all the ones that they had. They were fun. Like fighting the behemoth, that was a nice treat. The Tonberry was such a treat. That was so fun. Yeah, there was like some things I could have done without though, like the whole like some of like the little puzzles and stuff, but literally just the story and the characters and how well they made this game apart from those things, I think kind of overshadows all of like a lot of the flaws. And I'm not saying this game is perfect, but yeah, I think what I cherish the most, they're using not just the original, but the full Final Fantasy VII compilation, and everything makes sense. Yes. I'm going to take a drink real quick. That's really cool. Like, they're pulling stuff from Crisis Core. They're pulling stuff from Advent Children, which is awesome. And we got a little bit of all of that. Like, there was definitely... I have to watch Advent Children again now because there was definitely more references to Advent Children than I realized. And I want to like watch it again and then just like watch certain cutscenes again from the remake, that because it's crazy. Okay. So another thing I want to talk about is the 7 seconds you have. Like Sephiroth said, like, I can't remember exactly what he said. He was like, you have 7 seconds until the end, I think. Which was interesting because I'm assuming that if this is indeed Sephiroth from the past and this is, it's him like telling Cloud, like, you have 7 seconds before the meteor crashes and wipes out everything. What are you going to do with those 7 seconds? It's just crazy. What do you guys say? I'm like, there's so much going through my head. I don't even know what to talk about right now because I'm thinking about that. I'm still mind blown about the whole Zack thing. Like, oh my goodness. Would the FF7 remake be a different mental arc of Cloud's emotions? Since Crisis Core, FF7 original, Advent Children being his own person, normal human, Cloud, Tifa, Marlene, Denzel. I'm going to read that one more time, Devon. Crisis Core, Oh, since Crisis Core, FF7 original, and having children being the same person. I don't think this will. I think Cloud's gonna still have this. I think they're gonna go about his like mental state differently. But I think it's at its core, it's going to be the same. Like I'm assuming that there's gonna be those moments in the future installments where he's gonna get possessed by Sephiroth, hand him like the black materia or something, or I would imagine they would still have those moments. But I mean, they could do a different take on that, because that was like pretty weird the way that they did that in the original. Like, the original game was really weird. It was great, but it was weird. And this is like, again, like, this didn't hit me from a nostalgia standpoint. I've said this before because I played the original very recently. I finished the original literally 2 weeks before the remake came out, I think. But it was still like, I don't know, so crazy playing this remake and, having the original story in mind. What else I want to talk about off the top of my head? Yeah, you guys in the chat, give me some, let's talk about some stuff. Let's tell me some of your favorite moments. Tell me things you're looking forward to. Tell me, yeah, let's just talk. I'm excited to go to like Cosmo Canyon and do the whole Nanaki arc. I'm excited for that, and just, I think it was confirmed. I gotta go check on this again, but I think it was confirmed that that they are, like, Red 13 and like Sid, Yuffie, and all of them are gonna be playable in the next part, which is great. And I know like some people were like upset that Red 13 wasn't playable, but I get it, because like in this part, but like I get it because you don't get him until what, chapter 16 or 17, literally the end of the game. So like it wouldn't make sense to just make him playable for like a couple hours and then the game's over. Like, it didn't really make sense. So I'm glad that like it makes sense that he wouldn't be playable, at the end of the remake, but they're probably gonna have him playable, in part 2. 7 seconds. I think it's about the meteor, or it's about Aerith. Ooh, yeah, because we don't know. Yeah, I mean, we've got like in the simulation. I think was in the simulation, like the Shinra building. We got like those some like flashbacks about like the Cetra and like the ancients, and then we've got flash forwards of the meteor. And then this is a whole other thing to talk about. But we saw Tifa. What looked like Tifa being killed by Sephiroth in like a vision, which I'm just saying, if they capitalize on that, I'm gonna be a very unhappy person, because she's my favorite character. That would suck. But I mean, we did have Barrett technically die in the remake. We had him die, and he came back to life because that wasn't his fate. So maybe they'll like do something like that just to throw us off for like shock value. What I didn't like about the game, I was saying like there's not a lot that I didn't like. I would say, like I said like kind of earlier, but like some like the whole like mechanical arm puzzle, I hated it. I was just like, why is this here? And then just some like filler stuff like that, that I thought was kind of unnecessary, but like. Yeah, some of, like, the side quests, I liked most of the side quests, but, like, some of them were just kind of, like, they could have been better side quests, I guess. Yeah, it's hard to, like, think about what I didn't like, because there's so much I liked. I'm trying to think, because, like, so the whole Zack thing, I'm, like, I love that he's alive in an alternate reality, or maybe it's an alternate timeline, but at the same time, it changes everything, because then, like, again, I don't think it would set Cloud on the path that he's on, and, like, there's, like, not much of an impact because Zack's alive, but I'm happy that he is. I have mixed emotions about Zack being alive. Like, I'm happy that he survived, but, man, Cloud hugging Tifa and Aerith's backstory almost broke me. Yeah, there was there was that scene with I realized after I played the game that there was actually different. It's the one scene when you're outside of Aerith's house and it's nighttime, and whenever I went outside in the meadow, it was Tifa. I had a scene with Tifa, and it's interesting because you can either have a scene with Tifa, Barret, or Aerith, depending on, I guess, things that you do in the game. I don't even know. But that was such a good moment for me. I needed that because, again, I love Cloud and Tifa together. It should be Aerith and Zack, and it should be Cloud and Tifa. So, Barret falling off the truck. Oh my gosh, wait, I'm like blanking on that. Was that towards the end? I want to say that was like towards the end during like the motorcycle segment. I literally don't even remember that. There was probably I'm sorry I don't remember that. That's so funny. I like the you know what I really loved? I loved the like the dialogue between Red 13 and Barret. It was just so like interesting. The 300-pound sack of crap that Barret is. It's such a funny line. This game was very well written. Like, it was very alive. You know, when you're walking through Midgar, there's so much life in the game. You feel like you're there. And they're going to the Shinra building. Yeah. Some of those scenes I don't remember. I'll have to watch again. Yeah, this game's very alive. Very like I feel like I'm there. It's very immersive. I think here's another one of my favorite parts of the game. It was the second it was whenever Cloud meets Aerith, right? After the whole Reno fight in the church, when Aerith and Cloud are walking to the Sector 5, the Sector 5 slums, and they're just like walking across the rooftops and just chatting, and there's just like this dialogue, and there's a little sass going back and forth. Oh my gosh, that was one of my favorite parts of the game. Just like the dialogue between Cloud and Aerith, you know, having that moment with Aerith. Having that whole like chapter with Aerith was so good. I mean, we had that in the original, but like seeing, you know, that dialogue being fleshed out, and it just feels so natural, and it was just so great. I feel like I'm repeating myself a lot because I keep saying like, it's so great, but it is. It's so good. I gotta take a breath. Holy crap. I feel like I've been talking for 27 minutes straight. Yeah, what else do you guys want to talk about? I'm curious. There's a lot to talk about. I kind of want to go back to the whole 7 seconds thing. 7 seconds till the end. Because we were talking about earlier. Yeah, Gabriel said earlier, I'm seeing. It could be either the meteor or it's 7 seconds till Aerith's death. And you know what's funny? I would like to go watch in the original game. I would like to go watch. By the time you see Sephiroth, like, come down and strike Aerith and kill Aerith to what, like, right whenever he actually kills her, I'm wondering if it actually is, like, 7 seconds in between whenever Sephiroth is falling to whenever she actually gets stabbed. Because that would be really interesting. 7 seconds till the end. Best part, period. With Cloud and Aerith, that was one of my favorite parts for sure. That okay, let's talk about the Honeybee Inn. The Honeybee Inn. I never went to Honeybee Inn in the original, so that was all new to me anyway. But I did not expect, like, that dance segment was so funny. It was just so, like, I just didn't expect it. And it was just so random. And it's, like, it's so out of character for Cloud, but it's so fun and it was so goofy. Like, that's something that this game did good, was, like, it kept some of the cheese and the goofiness from the original, and they implemented it into the remake, but in a way where it wasn't too weird, where it was just fun. It was just fun. So crazy. Yeah, like the whole Honeybee Inn segment was, that was hilarious. Just seeing Cloud dance, Aerith cheering him on. It was so random, but I loved it. It was so great. So funny. Wall Market was bumping. Dude, Wall Market was sick. The Coliseum was great. The Hell House boss, I love that they took certain regular enemies from the original and they made them into bosses in this game. Like, that's so awesome. The Hell House was so fun. That was probably the longest boss that I fought. That definitely took me a very long time, but it was such a fun fight. Sephiroth killed Aerith in exactly 7 seconds. Search for it later. Oh my gosh. Exactly 7 seconds. Wow. 7 seconds to the end. Dude, that has to be it. 7 seconds to the end. It probably could have a double meaning, but wow. I'm going to have to, like, literally watch the scene and just, like, count. I'm sure there's already a bunch of people talking about that and theorizing about it, and that's so insane. Sorry, my mom and her boyfriend are talking, so if you hear them in the background, that's them. But man, goodness, 7 seconds to the end. You know what dude, the whole final boss sequence was, it felt like a true finale to, like, a game. Like, I really enjoyed it. From fighting the Whispers and fighting, like the giant Harbinger Whisper, you know, we got to use everybody and everyone's teaming up and fighting, like, the 3, you know, the Kadaj trio Whispers. That was intense. And then fighting Sephiroth. Like, I'm really glad that he was the final boss of the remake, because it just feels right, you know? Like, it feels right for him to be the final boss. It felt like a true, like not like a final boss in terms of, like, scale, but, like, because, you know, obviously the final boss in the original is Sephiroth, but it's, hi, Mom. Okay, see you later.
Bye.
Have a good one. Not that, like, in terms of scale, because, like, obviously, like, there's, like, all these versions of Sephiroth that you fight at the end of the game, and it's like, oh my gosh, like, it's just intense. He uses Supernova and throws, like, all this crap at you. But just, like, Sephiroth as the final boss, it just felt like, I don't know, it was a great final boss fight. Starting off with Cloud, and then having Aerith come in, and then Tifa coming in later. It was great. It was so great. It was just like it was a good final boss. I loved it. And yeah, like, the motorcycle sequence was so fun. It was interesting that we fought that machine. I can't remember what it was called, but that machine that's, like, that you would fight at the end of the road in the original. We actually fought it as we're driving the motorcycle. The Rufus fight was so interesting. That one I struggled with a bit, but after I figured it out, it wasn't terrible. I just killed him with the limit, basically. But Rufus, so cool. So cool, man. Yeah, the final boss fights in this game were, I kind of just want to replay those again. I might get, like, chapter select, just replay the final bosses. They were so fun. Wow, Chris. Oh my gosh. What if we are given a choice if Aerith dies or not? If we're given a choice. Oh my gosh. I'm just imagining, like, I'm just picturing, it's like that moment when there's like, you know, that moment in the remake with Biggs, whenever he like dies, but I mean, he's not really dead. You find out at the end of the game, but like, whenever, like, you have that, like, he's like, promise me. And then you have like two choices, even though like the outcome is the same. I picture it being something like that, although it's like, you know, there's no music, but it's not like, I don't know, like there's some kind of dialogue that you choose that affects the outcome of her dying or not. That would be pretty crazy. Dang, because I would say most people would save her, you know, but at the same time, like, if she did live, it would kind of take away the impact of her death. So as crazy as that would be to have a decision, it would be cool to, like, if they give you a decision and then you choose to save her and then it's like an alternate ending, you know? Like there's like an alternate ending, or it's like a different ending, but the canon ending would stay the ending where she dies. I think that would be cool. Just because, like, there is such an impact and it does really hit you hard whenever she does die, and I think having her survive would take that away. That's kind of how I felt with Zack surviving. Like, feel like it takes away the impact, but at the same time, I'm happy because he's such an awesome character, and I'm excited to see what they're going to do. Whew. Man. Given a choice to save Aerith. I'm so shaken up by the whole vision of, like, Tifa potentially dying. I wonder if they're going to do a thing like they did with Barrett, where she dies, and then, like, the Whispers are like, nah, that's not how it's supposed to go down. That took me by surprise, for sure. Like, man. Definitely the most interesting new part of the game was the Whispers. Just because they were so mysterious, and, like, I kind of want to go back again and watch all the scenes that they're in now, knowing what I do know now about them. You know, them popping up, like, in the like the slums whenever, and then, like, you know, that scene where, like, Jessie gets hurt and, like, they're around her and, like, stuff like that. And yeah, I don't know. There's, like, a lot of scenes that I want to go back and watch knowing what I know now. But yeah, what else, guys? What else? Yeah, what else? What are some things you enjoyed? What are some things you're looking forward to in part 2? And even some things you didn't enjoy. Yeah, let's hear it. Gosh, I feel like, I mean, I talk a lot in general. I'm just a talkative person, but man, I need to take a break and take a drink. I don't know why I have my headset on. I just realized I have this on. I don't really need it, because there's nothing playing, you know? It's just funny. I'm just so used to putting it on every time I stream. I don't even really need it for this stream. It's just hilarious. Whew. What else can we talk about? Excited to play as Red 13, part 2. And to see all the other characters, you know. I think, so, what was that one girl's name? Kyrie Irving. No, that's not her. Kyrie? I know people are speculating that's Yuffie, which would make sense, considering, like, the context and everything, you know, her, like, messing around and, like, stealing things, and I think that would be kind of a cool reveal for, like, that girl to be, like, a tease for Yuffie. You know, I think that's kind of what they're going at. That's what I'm believing. Man, yeah, I'm trying to think what else was pretty significant that we haven't talked about yet. It's mainly the ending that's, like, the craziest part of all of this. Like, oh my gosh, the callback to the final confrontation of between Cloud and Sephiroth, whenever they're both standing off, like, and then it's like flashing back and forth, and then there's like a cutscene. We got a cutscene of them fighting. So cool. So cool. That was really special. Man, I enjoyed that. I'm glad they threw it in there. The random Kate Sith scene. Yeah, that was like, I remember that now that you're speaking about it. I mean, I'm assuming that's like, it's Reeve, you know, because I think it like showed Reeve like kind of before that, and then it showed Kate Sith. Honestly, I hate Kate Sith. I like Reeve, but I hate Kate Sith, which is so funny. I just didn't like Kate Sith as a party member in the original. But yeah, man, I'm excited for Cosmo Canyon just because, like, of all the feels with, like, Red 13 and his whole thing with his dad. And that was one of my favorite parts of the original. Red 13, one of my favorites. Man, looking forward to that. I really hope we see Palmer get hit by the truck again. I hope they keep that in the remake. That was hilarious. Like, I want them to continue on this route of, like, making it pretty serious and, you know, very well written and, you know, pretty, like, you know, story driven, but also keep the same amount of cheese and the goofiness. Like, for example, the Honeybee Inn segment again, like, really was great because of that. You know, there's a good change of pace. The whole Don Corneo thing with like spot on. So great. Leslie was an interesting addition. You know, we got a little bit of Leslie backstory towards like our second sewer segment. That was actually one part I didn't like about it. I didn't like that we went to the sewers twice. I felt like it was kind of unnecessary. It was kind of repetitive. I don't think we needed to go there twice. And I think we fought that Abzu boss more than once. Too. So, like, I don't know. I could have been without that. It was like the Leslie filler was okay. I mean, it was cool. You know, introduced like a new character. But, it was cool to like, it was cool to get more like Don Corneo time out of that though. And so in part 2, you know, I wonder if like they are going to go the route of like Leslie finishing off Don Corneo and instead of the Turks at Wutai. But also I hope that Wutai in the, okay, I can't remember if in the original Wutai was optional or not. Because in the original, whenever I played, I only played through it once. I got Yuffie from just like encountering her in the woods, and we fought her, and then she joined our party. And then we went to Wutai later and found out that was Yuffie's home place. And I can't remember if that place is optional in the original, or if you do end up going there, and then if you didn't encounter Yuffie like before, then you would get her there. But I hope if it was optional in the original, again, I can't remember if it was, because I went there. We went to Wutai in the original. But, you know, I hope it's not optional. I hope that's in there because, and they did name drop Wutai a lot in this game, for sure. Especially with the whole, like, it's funny because I didn't even know about the whole, like, Wutai invasion thing or, like, the whole thing with the, you know, the Wutai troops being against Shinra, and like I didn't know about all that until Crisis Core, which was interesting. And so they kind of talked about it in the remake of like, oh, Wutai scum and stuff like that. But yeah, can't wait for Sid. I'm interested to see who the voice actor is going to be for Sid. Yeah, Sid's such a cool character. I'm excited for him. I hope they keep like, again, like some of like the events the same. I'd say most of them. I hope they keep most of the events the same. But like, in part 2, it would be cool if they like added stuff. Well, actually, no. Now that I'm thinking about it, because for part 2 specifically, part 1, I see why they added so much. Because it was just Midgar, and in the original, you only spend 6 to 8 hours in Midgar, you know? But, yeah, like, which is why they probably added so much, you know, to keep it like an actual game, you know, having a whole game in Midgar. But, I don't think they need to add more. I don't think they need to add more, like, additional content for part 2, because part 2, is probably they have so much to work with for like with the original in terms of like all that. And I'm assuming if they do multiple parts, I'm going to assume part 2 is going to end with Aerith's death, and then part 3 is going to be kind of the rest of it, if I had to guess. But Aerith as a little girl, was she told to keep her identity as an ancient, a secret from everyone during the backstory. I don't know if she was I don't know if she was told to keep it a secret from everyone, because I mean, she didn't like go around saying, "Hey, I'm the last ancient on planet Earth." I would assuming she would keep it a secret because like she, you know, people were looking for her, specifically Shinra. I hope they continue with the whole Promised Land arc, like in the original, the whole like Black Materia thing and like all that. Like, I hope they keep some of that in there. You know, I don't want them to like with how they did part 1 with Midgar specifically. I'm okay that they added stuff to make it longer. But yeah, like, I would say in part 2, I really hope that they keep that, like, the additional content and, like, the changing of things to a minimum, because there already is so much of the original source material to work with for part 2. Sid and Cage Tree Remind, if you know what he yelled at Yuffie. I don't remember. Even though I literally just watched that scene yesterday because we were doing the data battles on critical mode, but I forget. They would probably get a different voice actor than, like, the KH voice actor. Voice actors, I said this earlier, did a phenomenal job. Phenomenal. Great job. Okay, so the only voice actor I didn't like was Zach's. I am willing to give him a shot as Zach, but the way that he delivered the Price of Freedom line, it was so cringy. Like, it was okay. So like the writing is like cheesy and cringy as it is, but like Rick Gomez definitely did a better job delivering that line. I'm not saying that, like, you know, the acting makes the writing and the better, but the way that the new voice actor, I don't even know his name, delivered the Price of Freedom line, I hated it. I freaking hated it. It was weird. But I am willing to give him a shot. If he's going to be the new Zack, I'm willing to give him a shot. Definitely was the only voice actor I didn't like. But yeah, I mean, Cody Christian did a phenomenal job as Cloud. Phenomenal. Like, he sounds like a Cloud, you know? Brianna White was my favorite voice actor. She voiced Aerith. Absolutely. Brianna, if you ever see this, I love you. Probably not. She also has a channel, Strange Rebel Gaming. So if you ever heard of Strange Rebel Gaming, that's Brianna White, the voice actress for Aerith. She streams on Twitch. She has a YouTube channel. She's awesome. She's literally so cool. She did such a good job. Such a good job. I think Britt Barron is Tifa's voice actor. That's her name. Great job. The dude that played Barrett nailed him. Exactly how I pictured Barrett in my head. Nailed him. Absolutely nailed him. Max Middleman as Red 13. That man is a legend in voice acting. Oh, what a perfect pick. Like, they're all great. Like, they're all great voice actors. They all did a great job. Heininger's spot on. Rufus was really cool. Like, they just all... Like, my only exception is Zach. I just didn't like Zach's voice actor. Like, that's it. But... How about One Date? Yeah. Well, it's funny, because I originally heard that, Devon, I originally heard that line from Playing Birth by Sleep, and I didn't even know who Zach was. And then he said it in Crisis Core, and I was like, oh, that's where it comes from. That's so funny. So, like, if I would have played Birth by Sleep after going through Crisis Core, I would have, like, caught that, you know? Man. I did. Brianna White's amazing. She's so awesome. Man. She's so cool. I did find her. I subscribed to her channel. She's good. The voice actor blew me away for Red 13. I know, Max Middleman. He did such a good job. Like, he's a perfect Red 13. Man. He should voice somebody from, like, The Lion King, I feel like. They should hire this man for Disney. If they ever remake another remade version of The Lion King, which they won't, because, you know, we've already got the remake of The Lion King. But hey, Max Middleman, phenomenal job. Yeah, the whole, like, oh gosh, I'm so excited for Red 13's story arc in part 2. Just the feels with, like, his dad, you know, like, he grows up his whole life thinking his dad's a coward, and ran away from a fight, but really his dad sacrificed himself, and he finds that out, like, towards, like, you know, the end of, like, the whole Cosmo Canyon thing. That hit me so hard in the original. It hit me so hard. Man. What else can we talk about, guys? Whew. Man. Trying to think about what I talked about in the spoiler-free video and then kind of capitalize on that. Take a drink. Mid-Toll, I think, with 2 T's, not 2 D's. Devon, Max Middleman. Which other character would he be good as? He'd be good as a lot of characters. Man. I don't even know. Like, he voiced, Devon, you would like this. He voiced Ira in Kingdom Hearts. I'm pretty sure he voiced Ira in back cover. Yes, he also played Ryuji in P5. Yep. Yeah, Chris. Persona. I have not played Persona 5, so, like, I know who Ryuji is. I know who some of the characters are because I've dipped my feet into it. But yeah, he does play Ryuji in P5. That's probably what he's very well known for playing Ryuji. That's a game that I want to get my hands on. I'd probably play that on Twitch though. It's such a long game from what people told me. That's just a lot of work for YouTube. Final Fantasy VII Remake. Oh, man. The music. Oh my gosh, the music. Let's talk about the music. Music was 10 out of 10. Music was 10 out of 10. Especially, like, Aerith's theme. I mean, her theme is so iconic and so, like, Aerith's theme is perfect because it gives you her entire story. You know, it's very sad, but there's also hope, you know. It's a very sad theme, but there's also that glimmer of hope in her theme. And oh my gosh, that was so good. Like, I wanted to cry every time in the remake, like, listening to her theme with Aerith, like, on screen and stuff. Like, the way that they, like, incorporated the music with, like, certain scenes, like, they did it perfectly, you know, like, the storytelling with the music specifically, you know, I felt it. For sure. Music 10 out of 10. Thank you. I'm glad you agree. It's so good. Even like the weird remixes with like the Chocobo remix, Electric Day Chocobo or whatever it's called, and like the remix going to Wall Market. Like it was great. I loved it. It was crazy. My hair's a bit like Zach's hair. Really? It's a little bit long. It's funny because like once you guys get to know me a little better, you know, I tend to like grow it out in like the winter time. I would get it cut right now, but we're kind of in a pandemic where places aren't open, at least in my area, so I can't. But I do want to get it short again. I go through phases where like I grow my hair long and then I get it cut like super short. So but I like, you know, I like it. I like both. I like both the long hair and the short hair. The Chocobo remix, yeah, it grew on me too. I enjoyed it. Man. There was one theme, I can't find it because I don't know what it's called, but it was specifically one of the battle themes. I know it was like whenever we were fighting the Hell House. It wasn't like the Hell House theme specifically. I think it was meshed in with it, but it popped up like some other times. There was one battle theme in there that was really, really good. And I don't know what it's called. And I don't even know how to describe it. Because like, again, yeah, but it was, yeah, the battle theme remix is so good. I loved that chat, like I loved that they gave Jesse, Biggs, and Wedge more screen time. Chapter 4 was all Jesse, Biggs, and Wedge. Like, that was not even in the original. The whole thing with, like, Roche, you know, that wasn't in the original. I hope they bring him back in part 2. I'm assuming they will. If they can't just, you know, he comes in for a couple fights, then he pieces out. You don't see him again. You know, being like a soldier, you know. He's a soldier for Shinra. Chapter 4 was great. Jesse, Biggs, and Wedge. Like, I love that. That actually might have been one of my favorite chapters just because it was brand new. And, you know, we did get to fall in love with them more before their deaths. Well, at least Jesse's death. But Biggs survived. That's pretty crazy. Let me know what you guys think about Biggs surviving. Wedge, I think, is unaccounted for. We don't know if Wedge survived or not because I think he, like, fell down the elevator shaft from the Whispers. Jessie, her death was... I felt it so much more because they were more fleshed out. And I'm glad that they did that. That's another one of my favorite parts about this game. Okay, so favorite parts about this game. Getting more Aerith. Specifically that we actually, you know what's crazy? Besides Cloud, we got to play as Aerith more than any of the other characters besides Cloud. I realize that. I think. I'd have to go back and see. I think there was like a good, now I think about it, I think there was a good mix because we did play as Tifa, I think, in Corneo's mansion. And then whenever we were going through the whole thing in chapter 17 or whatever, whenever we were getting through the Shinra lab, we were switching between Cloud and Tifa. We had that whole segment with Barrett, like specifically just as Barrett. That was cool. I liked that. But yeah, there was an emphasis on Aerith this game as well. And I really like that a lot because, like, again, like, you know she's going to die unless they change it. And that it's going to make it so much more impactful, and it is going to hurt so much more for sure. They are so much more fleshed out. Yes. Jesse, Biggs, and Wedge are so much more fleshed out. I think Erica Lindbergh, is that her name? I don't know if I said her name right, but she voiced Jesse, did a great job. I really liked the voice actor for Wedge. It was so unique. His voice is very unique. Yeah, man. Biggs too. Biggs is great. Like, they're all Jesse, Biggs, and Wedge, man. Still, it sucked, like, seeing them die, or seeing Jesse die anyway. But again, you know, you feel more connected to them in the remake, and so their deaths are a little more meaningful. You know, they hit a little closer to home for you. Still cool for Red 13 to be playable. See, I am okay with him not being playable in the remake because you get him at the end of the game. And so, like, it wouldn't make sense for you to have a new playable character where you can customize stuff for if you're only using him for, like, a couple chapters. You know, it just, like, wouldn't make sense. So I understand why he wasn't playable. But it was cool that he was fighting alongside you, you know? Like, that was cool. They are definitely going to have him playable for part 2, though. Like, I'm pretty sure that's confirmed. Yeah. Whew. We're at the 1 hour mark. I don't really know what else to talk about. I guess we'll talk for a little bit longer. I didn't plan on this being, like, too long. I just want to talk about it, like, a little bit. But, yeah. Jeez. What else haven't we touched on yet? Yeah, we talked about the final battle. Talked about Zack. Yeah, the characters. I mean, we talked about that. I'm just trying to think. What else? Oh, it was cool that they had, like, new materia in the game. Yeah, let's talk about the combat. We didn't really even talk about the combat. I guess since I just brought up the materia, we'll talk about the materia. But there was a lot of, like, different types of materia that they put in the game that weren't in the original, which is really cool. And there was also, like, I mean, we didn't have, like, this is just an example, but we didn't have, like, comet materia. I think there was some other materia that we didn't have that was in the original. Unless you get it from, like, doing post-game stuff. I don't know. I haven't done really a lot of post-game, like, chapter select stuff. But you do get comet materia, like, later on in the game anyway, so it's, like, whatever. But it was cool that we had, like, different materia, of, like, you know, with, like, the whole that affected ATB. The prayer materia was really cool. The chocolate, like, I don't know, it was cool. Like, it was cool. I liked having the upgrade system with all the weapons. You kind of can make your own build, and if you're not happy with it, you can just retract it by spending a little bit of money. The combat was 10 out of 10. I think this is my new favorite combat system in all of gaming because it meshes perfectly. Live action with ATB combat. So good. So good. Meshes the turn-based with the live action. It's just really perfect. Like, it's just so... And, like, I know there were some people who were talking to me. They were like, hey, like, why don't you use, like, shortcuts for some of your commands? But, like, I feel like that kind of ruins the experience for me because I like being able to hit X and pause and seeing, like, the cinematic, like, aspect of it. Like, pausing while Tifa's, like, mid-kick, seeing her slow motion, just, like... and then, like, picking command. Like, it was great. 10 out of 10. My new favorite combat system. Absolutely. And also, like, the fighting the summons, that was really interesting. That was fun. Challenging, but it was fun. And then, like, you get the summons after you fight them. It's interesting that Leviathan was non-elemental. I mean, there's no, like, water element in FF7. At least I don't think. But, yeah, it was just interesting. It was weird. It's, like, non-elemental attack, but it was cool. Yeah, the summons. The Coliseum, so fun. Love it. The simulator's so good. Special abilities of the different weapons were awesome. Yeah, like, this each weapon. And that also, what's cool is, like, you have an incentive to use other weapons and try them out because you want to unlock those special abilities. So that was really cool. I stuck with the Buster Sword pretty much almost the whole time because Zack Fair's my dude. But also, like, it's just iconic, you know. And that was, honestly, I thought that was, like, the best sword. You know, just a good balanced sword. What do I think the Whispers are? Well, they talk about in the game, you know, they're arbiters of fate, but that's kind of like, Yeah, vague, I guess. I'm not vague, but like they're arbiters of fate. I'm get like on a deeper level, I don't really know. You know. Um I like I'm curious to see what they're going to do with them because it's at first I thought they were references to like the hooded like reunion people in the original. So for example, we got a guy named Marco in the remake who is, one of those guys, one of those Sephiroth reunion people. But I don't think that's the case. I don't know if they're like actual, beings from the future coming to try to change the past, or if they're just some kind of cosmic entity. Like, I don't know. And besides the fact that they are like quote unquote arbiters of fate trying to like change, or like, they're, if there's something going wrong that shouldn't, if there's something that's deviating from fate and they're there to fix it. Yeah, I kind of want to know more about it. I kind of want to know more about them. I want to watch more cutscenes for sure with them in it. And yeah, but there's any other YouTuber that can analyze video? Oh, BioRoxas? Yeah. I've seen some of his stuff. He does like the dry form stuff for Kingdom Hearts. Yeah, he's really cool. I followed him on Twitch too. He's just a really cool guy. Really cool guy. But yeah. Does a lot of really good content with like analyzing combat and stuff. His dry form videos are really cool. The planet trying to keep the timeline in place, yeah. Mm-hmm. And so I'm assuming that. So I'm wondering if like the Whispers were, if they were like, because they were, especially at the end, they were all like surrounding Sephiroth. So part of me is like, if this is Sephiroth from Advent, if this is Advent Children Sephiroth, if the Whisperers are trying to prevent Sephiroth from doing something, but at the same time, it looked like Sephiroth, like whenever we were fighting him, he like sent the Whisperers at us to like attack us. So I don't know. Yeah, like they're trying to keep the timeline in place, but like I think more will be answered in part 2. But yeah, the Whispers. Whew, so interesting. Really, really, really interesting. Man. I definitely like, is it George Newbern? I think that was his name, that voiced Sephiroth before. I would say I definitely liked his voice actor better than the new one they got, but this one isn't bad. I don't not like him. I don't even know who they got. I'd have to look up the cast, but yeah. George Newbern will always be Sephiroth. I just really would love for them to bring Rick Gomez back as the one voice actor that I'm just like, please bring him back. But I'm willing to give the new guy a shot. The price of Rick Gomez is steep. So, hey, if you can't get him, I understand. What's wrong with me? Oh, man. I'm trying to think, what else can we talk about? The combat was so good. This combat system was what Final Fantasy 15 combat should have been. And I love Final Fantasy 15. I loved it. Even though it's not like the best Final Fantasy game, I so enjoyed it. The combat was kind of like wonky. It's kind of weird, but that's what Final Fantasy 15 should have been. This combat system, if you ask me. And I hope that they continue with this combat system in future remakes. Obviously for, part 2. Absolutely. But if they were to do, like I said, like I would really love a Final Fantasy 8 remake. That'd be so cool if they kept this system like this, or just even something else. Like, that would be awesome. For sure. Whew. Oh, man. If I talk about the whispers anymore, I'm probably going to get a headache because it's so confusing. There's just so much. I'm really interested in the whole 7 seconds thing. 7 seconds till the end. I'm sure that has like a double meaning with like Aerith dying and also like the meteor. And I hope when we get to the end of this remake completely that they change. Okay, maybe not change the original FF7 ending, but just like give us more to the ending, because the ending in the original Final Fantasy 7, like the life stream prevents the meteor from like destroying the planet, and in theory it's like Aerith like in the life stream like working with the planet to save the world, but then it just ends, you know? There's nothing after it. I hope that they flesh out the ending more. You know, they give us more of like a conclusive ending if they are to go with like that ending. But honestly, with how they incorporated the whispers and everything, I have no idea what the heck they're going to do. Hope they keep it for Final Fantasy 16, yeah. When are we going to get a new like titled Final Fantasy game? Final Fantasy 16, yeah. I hope so too. Like, it's seriously like, it's such a perfect combat system. It's so good. Whew. I think the next Final Fantasy game I'm going to play. Well, I'm playing Final Fantasy Type 0 right now in my own time. I have a love-hate relationship with that game. It's good, but there's also a lot of things that I don't like about it. But I am enjoying it for the most part. I want to play, I want to stream Final Fantasy X on YouTube for sure. Eventually. Probably not for a while. It'll probably be my next one I stream. But I also want to do Final Fantasy IX. I bought Final Fantasy IX. Like mime. I bought Final Fantasy IX off a whim. Because everyone was saying that it's like super underrated. And I love games that are super underrated. Because they're usually really good. But I want to get into that as well. I have it. I just, you know, I want to get into it eventually. But 10 will probably be my next Final Fantasy game. But that probably won't be for a while. We're going to be doing The Last of Us starting next week. We're going to be doing Doom Eternal on Twitch next week. I don't know if I linked that in my Twitch. Yeah, my Twitch is in the description, so if you want to check me out there. We do some games on Twitch. We're mainly here on YouTube. Mainly like story-based games we'll do on YouTube, but sometimes we do stuff on Twitch. Yeah, I'm going to make a video tomorrow telling you guys exactly what the stream schedule is going to be like, but yeah. What else can we talk about? Man, overall, this game is a solid, for me, a 9.5 out of 10, maybe even a 10 out of 10. I have to play it again. I have to play it again on hard mode. Probably won't stream that. I'll probably do that on my own time because I do want to actually experience the story in my own time, personally. You catch more things. It can be kind of hard to catch stuff on stream. But because, you know, there's, and especially in your first playthrough, because there's also like, there's so much happening. But man, this game was so good. I'm excited to see if they're gonna capitalize on the whole Zack thing, Zack surviving, and the whole alternate timeline, and the whole whisper thing. And yeah, I'm ready for part 2. Can't think of anything else I want to talk about. If you're, to anybody who's going to watch the VOD, if you get to this point, let me know what you guys, in the comments down below, what you guys think. And if you guys have any other final thoughts in the chat. Oh my gosh, right. Atlantis and Treasure Planet. So underrated, but so good. I agree, Devon. The Last of Us will be a treat. I'm really excited. Yeah. I heard part 2 isn't that great because it's been leaked. I haven't seen anything. I know literally nothing about The Last of Us. So I'm going to play the first one. We'll see whenever part 2 comes out, because people have been saying the story kind of for the second one. But we're definitely going to play the first one. God of War. Chris, I actually have an entire playthrough on this channel doing God of War. So definitely check that out. There's a whole God of War playlist. That was a treat. That I would put in my top 10 favorite games of all time. for sure. The newest God of War. I never played the original ones, but before like the first, before the PS4 God of War came out, I made sure to watch, like, I did like a whole week. I watched every single, like, all the cutscenes, like all the God of War games, because I wanted to get the story. But yeah. Yeah. Top 10 best games of all time. I definitely put God of War up there for sure, like the new one, or the newest one. Final Fantasy VII Remake is honestly in my top 10. Man, like Nier Automata's up there. Nier Automata's probably the best game I've ever played to this day. I have a whole playthrough of that on this channel as well. Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door for me. Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix. Those are just some of my top ones of all time. I mean, the whole Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts is my favorite series. If you've been here with the channel for a while, that's kind of where this channel started, was Kingdom Hearts, and a lot of people come here for that. But yeah, man, yeah, Sly Cooper. That's one remake that I really want. I really want a Sly Cooper remake, trilogy remake. That was one of my favorite trilogies, for sure. I don't know why we're talking about this stuff. This is a Final Fantasy VII stream. Yeah, I don't have anything else to talk about. I'm just interested to see what they do with part 2. And I'm interested to do a second playthrough of it. My two friends, Adrian and Pascal, would have loved to join this. Well, hey, tell them to come join next time. Tell them to watch the VOD. And, yeah, I'll kind of leave it at that. I'll kind of wait to see if you guys have anything else to talk about, and if not, we'll kind of end it here. This actually went longer than I expected. Kind of only played out talking for like 40 minutes. I think we doubled that almost. Excuse me. Whew. Yeah, I can't think of anything else that I want to talk about. I know there's certain people. Oh, man. You guys will probably watch a VOD, but Drew, Stranger, Kyle, I was thinking about you guys during this whole stream. I would have really liked to talk to you guys about some stuff. But, hey, we can talk in Discord, too. I do have a Discord link in the About section. I don't really use Discord a lot. It's just kind of there. There's not really anything set up. It's just kind of like a general Discord tab. You can go click on that in the About section if you want to join the Discord. There's not really much going on. I kind of just post stuff here and there, and sometimes we talk about things, but like there's only a few of us in there. So if you want to connect, you can join there. Twitter. I don't do a lot on Twitter, but man, yeah. Devon, have a wonderful night, and I hope you have a fantastic week the rest of the week. Hope to use Unreal Engine 5 for part 2 of the remake. Ooh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I feel like almost at this point they have to. But at the same time, like, because I'm pretty sure, like, part 2 would have already been in development. So it might set them back if they go into Unreal Engine 5. But I wouldn't be opposed to it. I wouldn't be opposed to it even if they just kept this engine and then they did Unreal Engine 5 for part 3. If there is a part 3, which I'm assuming there will be a part 3 because there's so much content. And so, like, yeah, it would just make sense. I'm getting tired. But, yeah. If you guys have nothing else to talk about, probably end it here. Just gotta kind of, yeah. So that's pretty much it. Take a drink. Woo. All right. Well, thank you guys for watching. Final Fantasy VII Remake. That's the spoiler talk I kind of wanted to do. I got everything off my chest that I wanted to get off. Still have a lot of questions, a lot of things unanswered. I think it's supposed to be that way, which is okay. Chris, thank you for stopping by. I really appreciate you, man. Hope you see you around more for sure. Absolutely. I love getting to talk to you guys, and I love getting to know some of you. Again, like there's certain people that I'm thinking of, like Zemo, Stranger, Kyle, Drew. Don't think I haven't forgotten about you guys. Misty Dolphin, I haven't seen you in a hot minute, but I hope you come by soon again. Yeah, I enjoy like getting to know you guys, and that's why I do this. This is fun. This is fun for me. I remember all you guys popping in the chat, and I hope to connect with you guys more for sure. And yeah, Chris, again, thanks. Devon already left, but thank you, Devon. And Gabriel stopped by earlier. Thank you, Gabriel. And to anyone else who I might have forgotten to mention that has popped up in my chat before, thank you. Because you guys make this so exciting. And I really love you guys so much. And I hope to see you for future games that we're going to play on this channel. And yeah, Last of Us is going to start next week. It's going to be awesome. And make sure to check out some other content on the channel for sure if you're new. And yeah, don't forget to subscribe. So that's it. Thank you guys again. I appreciate it. And yeah, till the next stream,